All right, we've got Sarah here executing some rack pulls. She's switching off with Grace. They're doing 1 rep at a time or 1 attempt at a time. Grace, slide that other 2.5 off. All right, remember your air pressure and your force through the ground. There you go. Now we're gonna stick with that weight. Sarah, slide the 2.5s on. So we're starting right now a strength circuit, starting with an overload exercise, which means we're handling more weight than we would be able to with the conventional form of this lift. See, a rack pull is the top half of a deadlift, and that's what makes it an overload exercise, is we're able to pull more weight than we would be doing from the ground. Lats, a little more lats, pull those shoulders back. Now take a big breath, stomp hard, lean back. That's an attempt right there, that's good. That's a good attempt. You see, and I say 3 reps or 3 attempts because as long as we're exposing your structure, your muscles, and your skeletal structure, your tendons and ligaments as well, connective tissue, to this stimulus, then that's success. There we go, good rep. Hop on up, Grace. Now, Grace, how aggressively you push into the ground, how quickly, aggressively, and how well you brace your air pressure is going to make all the difference. Because again, you've got the strength, but we're working on the skill. Big air, all at once.
Yes.
Look at that. And see there, you can tell the grip is slipping a little bit, which is a benefit of an overload exercise, is that the grip may be the limiting factor. But strengthening your grip is just as important as strengthening anything else. All right, we're here on attempt number 3. Oh no, that was 3 each? Okay, great. So breathe it out before you start your first rep up. We're gonna be moving on to back squats. They're gonna get 3 reps each. And you see, here's the breakdown of what we're doing right now. We've actually switched. We're doing B first, rack pulls, which is an overload exercise, 3 reps or 3 attempts, followed by back squats for strength. They're both strength, but rack pull is strength on steroids. Back squats, 3 reps. Then we move on to our secondary exercises with some rows and dips, sledgehammer for conditioning and power, and then yoga for recovery. All right, I'm here.
Okay.
So spot with her like last time, Sarah. You're gonna squat in sync with each other. Work with the bar, Grace. Open up, stomp, thrust. There we go. It's all about the air pressure for you. Tight. All right, walk it forward together.
Yeah.
Good spot. All right, hop on in, Sarah. And we got teammates working together. Things always move efficiently. Hop up with her, Grace. Squat with her. Nice, feel that bar path. All right, walk it together with her. All right. Putting the bar back up in the rack is an important duty of the spotter. So now we're moving on to band assisted dips. So Grace, go ahead and hop up in the band, get your 5 reps. Yeah, we're switching our secondary exercises. So we've got a band set up on the dip bars. Now this is a little more assistance than either Grace or Sarah needs, but it allows us to do a full look at that depth. Working on squeezing the shoulder blades. Chest down a little bit more. We're going 5 reps on these band assisted dips. There we go, that's the rep we're looking for. Push. Lock it out, there you go, there's 5. Hop on out. All right, Sarah, hop on in. What's up, Dan?
Morning. What's happening?
When we face down on the dip, we squeeze the shoulder blades together so we engage the pecs as much as possible. Kind of turns it into a little bit of a push-up sensation. Go, hips back, elbows back. Dan, let's move it a little bit on the bike. Get your blood flowing. Looking good, Sarah. Good. We got Dan prepping for what is to come, calm before the storm. All right, Grace and Sarah are both coming over here to bust out some dumbbell pendlay rows now to complement the pushing, upper body pushing exercise we did. You see each row starts and finishes on the ground. You want to keep your hand on the weight, Grace, even when you put it down. With a heavy pendlay row from the ground, we're thinking about pushing down in our three extremities just as hard as we're pulling up with the dumbbell, and at the same time. So that reciprocating force helps balance each other out. It helps you engage your core, helps keep you stable. You saw we're using a little bit of rock. That's perfectly fine and to be expected on this exercise. It's okay to rotate, rock, and use a little bit of body momentum in a controlled manner. So Grace, you're gonna head over to the sledgehammer and get your first 10 reps. And you see what we've done here with this program. Our two money exercises are A and B, the back squats, the rack pulls. We're prioritizing those because they're low volume, high intensity. 3 reps means that those are very high intensity. We've got an overload exercise. They're both posterior chain dominant exercises, but the back squats add in a little bit more quadriceps. Come through, Sarah, you good? Then we move on to our secondary exercises with an upper body push-pull combination. Pendlay rows are a horizontal pulling exercise. Band-assisted dips, kind of in between a horizontal and vertical pushing exercise. Those are both 5 reps, still high intensity, but a little bit more volume, medium-low volume instead of low volume. And we move on to partner sledgehammer, getting 20 each. The intention here is power endurance. Always an emphasis on finesse as well. The movement pattern comes first. The power and aggression comes second. They've both been doing sledgehammer for a hot minute, so they're looking steady and smooth. The sledgehammer is a very multifaceted exercise that you could be doing for a multitude of intentions, whether it's for the core, shoulder mobility, working on syncing up your breath with a movement, power endurance, even conditioning. If you've really got the movement pattern down, you can do high volume, let your heart rate spike, and keep working through it. Right here, we're doing kind of on the low end of power endurance, 20 reps each, switching off by 10s. Eyes on the target. Pick a target, always aim for that target. All right, Grace, go ahead and start with your yoga recovery. You see at the end of each circuit, we've got 3 yoga postures for recovery times 8 breaths each. That helps us not only recover, but work on our breathing under fatigue. So recovery breaths are always very useful in any type of workout, being mindful of how quickly you're able to de-escalate de-escalate what you've just built up as far as fatigue accumulation. Looks good, Sarah. Grace is busting out melting heart. Shift your hips back a little bit. Knees tucked under the hips a little more. There we go. So I like to map out combinations of yoga postures for different purposes. In this case, we were using it for an end of circuit recovery period to work on your breathing technique. and to open up a little bit of what we just tightened. So you'll see we've got melting heart. Put that in there because it complements our rack pulls with a thoracic extension. Same with cobra or up dog. Got the choice there. And then happy baby to help with hip mobility in our back squats. And their goal here is to make 8 breaths per posture last as long as possible. Remember, not all breaths are created equal, and recovery breaths are a skill, just like getting stronger. So being intentional about how you approach it, how you execute each breath, making sure that you're sending your breath to the area where it helps you the most when you're discovering restrictions in your body. Make all the difference in the world between just checking in, going through the motions, or getting the most out of our, in this case, mobility and recovery work. Let's also look up towards the ceiling, go for a neck stretch. Let's try to lock your arms out. We're always taking our time on something like that. Recovery is what dictates our performance and intensity capabilities during a strength workout. So you can either just hang out for a few minutes between sets, like you would typically see, or you can do small odds and ends that are conducive not only to recovering, but filling in the gaps and addressing restrictions that you may or may not know exist in your body. So give you a quick recap of this workout again. We started with our big bang for your buck money lifts. At the end of the day, those are what drive progress and adaptation, the strength work. Both lower body, both posterior dominant with the back squats and the rack pulls. Then we moved to our secondary exercises with our pendulum rows and band assisted dips. Finished off with a little cash out work with the sledgehammer. Let's go ahead and get a cool down lap in. The bands are in here. Grab a, right behind those tools on the, yeah, any of them will work. Like I said, we finished with the sledge as a cash out, and then we always address recovery in some way, shape, or form today with yoga. Nice work, guys, gals.